Christmas is supposed to be warm. It's supposed to be safe. Lights glowing softly in the dark, families gathered together, children waiting for Santa Claus. But sometimes, Christmas becomes the perfect disguise for horror. Because when people feel safe, they let their guard down, and that's when the unthinkable happens. Tonight, you're about to hear true Christmas horror stories, real cases, real victims, real terror that unfolded during the most celebrated holiday in America. These stories are not myths. They are not urban legends. They are documented nightmares. So turn down the lights, put on your headphones, and remember one thing: evil doesn't take holidays. On Christmas Eve 2008, in Covina, California, the Ortega family gathered for what was supposed to be a joyful holiday party. Relatives laughed, children opened gifts, music played in the background. Then, the doorbell rang. Standing outside was a man dressed as Santa Claus. Red suit, white beard, wrapped presents in his hands. The family cheered. They had no idea this Santa wasn't bringing joy. He was bringing death. The man was Bruce Pardo, a former family member filled with rage after a bitter divorce. Hidden beneath his Santa costume was a homemade flamethrower. Moments after entering the house, Bruce pulled out a gun and opened fire. People screamed, children ran, some were shot while trying to escape. Then, Bruce sprayed gasoline throughout the home and ignited it. The house exploded into flames. 9 people died that night. Bodies were so badly burned that investigators needed dental records to identify them. Bruce Pardo fled the scene, later taking his own life. The image of Santa Claus, once a symbol of joy, became forever associated with one of the deadliest Christmas massacres in U.S. history. In 1945, in Fayetteville, West Virginia, a family gathered around the fireplace on Christmas Eve. Children waited eagerly for Santa. They laughed as the fire crackled. Then they heard a sound, scratching. At first, they thought it was an animal. Then the scratching became louder. Suddenly, a man fell through the chimney, landing directly into the fireplace. He wasn't Santa. He was a convicted criminal who had escaped prison days earlier. Covered in soot and bleeding, the man pulled out a knife. The family froze. What saved them was pure chance. The man was severely injured from the fall. He collapsed before he could attack. Police later confirmed he had broken into multiple homes using chimneys because families were distracted during Christmas Eve. That night, the family realized something terrifying. If he hadn't fallen, they would have never stood a chance. December 24th, 1996, Boulder, Colorado. 6-year-old John Benet Ramsey went to sleep excited for Christmas morning. She never woke up. Her parents found a ransom note on the staircase, 3 pages long. Hours later, her body was discovered in the basement. The case shocked America. A child beauty queen, a wealthy family, a murder inside the home on Christmas. To this day, no one has been convicted. The idea that a killer could strike inside a family home during Christmas shattered the illusion of safety across the country. Parents everywhere checked locks twice that night. Some never slept peacefully on Christmas again. In the early 1970s, multiple women across the United States reported something disturbing. On Christmas Eve, they received phone calls. The caller whispered things only someone watching them would know. What gifts were under the tree, where they were sitting, who was home. One woman laughed it off. Minutes later, she heard footsteps upstairs. Police later linked these calls to a serial predator who targeted homes during Christmas, knowing people ignored strange noises because of celebrations. Several victims were assaulted. One was murdered. Christmas music was playing during the attack. In 1929, in Germantown, Maryland, a Christmas party turned deadly. A woman poisoned a bowl of eggnog. 7 people died. The motive? Jealousy. She intended to kill one person, but Christmas brought everyone together. Her crime became one of America's earliest mass poisonings. The phrase holiday cheer took on a darker meaning forever. In 1943, guests staying at a Colorado mountain hotel reported strange events on Christmas night. Children crying in empty hallways, footsteps outside locked doors, shadows near Christmas trees. One guest vanished. Police never found his body. The hotel later burned down on Christmas Eve. To this day, locals avoid the land during December. They say Christmas attracts spirits that were never meant to return. Psychologists believe Christmas creates the perfect storm: emotional stress, family conflict, financial pressure, alcohol, false sense of safety. When emotions peak, so does violence. Christmas doesn't create monsters, it reveals them. Before you celebrate Christmas this year, check your doors, lock your windows, and remember, sometimes the scariest thing under the tree isn't a gift, it's the truth. Last time, you heard how Christmas, a season of joy, turned into a stage for mass murder, kidnappings, and unsolved nightmares. But those stories were only the beginning, because some of the most disturbing Christmas crimes in American history are barely talked about. Cases buried under holiday music, gift wrapping, and forced smiles. Tonight, we continue with true Christmas horror stories that prove one terrifying truth. Evil loves holidays because nobody expects it. On December 24th, 1983, in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Texas, neighbors noticed something strange. The house lights were on, the Christmas tree was glowing, but the family hadn't answered the door all day. Inside the home, police discovered a nightmare. A mother, a father, 3 children, all shot execution style. Wrapped Christmas gifts were still under the tree. Dinner sat untouched on the table. Investigators determined the killer waited patiently, possibly hiding inside the home until the family returned from church. There were no signs of forced entry, no robbery, no suspects. The killer was never caught. To this day, the house is avoided every Christmas. Neighbors say the lights flicker on by themselves, even though no one lives there anymore. In the early 1990s, shopping malls across several U.S. states received complaints about a Santa Claus actor. Parents said their children came back crying. The Santa whispered disturbing things. "You won't make it to next Christmas. I know where you live." Police dismissed it as tasteless jokes until a pattern emerged. 3 families who encountered that Santa were later robbed and violently attacked. The man had used mall appearances to learn children's names, identify family routines, and track addresses through conversation. He was finally arrested after a home invasion turned deadly. During interrogation, he said something chilling. Christmas makes people trust anyone in red. December 25th, 2002. Rural Oregon. A 19-year-old college student left her family's Christmas dinner to meet a friend. She never returned. Her car was found abandoned on a snow-covered road. The engine was still warm. Inside the car, her phone, her purse, Christmas gifts in the back seat. Search teams scoured the forest for weeks. No body was ever found. Years later, a truck driver confessed on his deathbed that he had picked up a hitchhiker on Christmas night. He described her perfectly, but refused to say where he dropped her off. The case remains open. Every Christmas, her family still sets a place for her at the table. In 1978, in Ohio, a group of teenagers decided to pull a harmless Christmas prank. They dressed in dark clothing and knocked on doors late at night, pretending to be carolers. One house didn't answer. They knocked harder. Inside was a Vietnam War veteran, already traumatized, already paranoid. When the door burst open, he fired his shotgun. 2 teenagers died instantly. The survivor lived with the guilt forever. Police ruled it a tragic accident, but it proved something horrifying. Christmas night confusion can turn fear into instant death. Between 1956 and 1964, 5 women across different states were murdered. All cases went cold. Decades later, investigators noticed something chilling. Each murder occurred between December 23rd and December 26th. Same method, same victim profile, same holiday window. The killer only struck during Christmas. Why? Criminologists believe he blended in easily. Traveling during holidays raised no suspicion. Families were distracted. Police staffing was reduced. The killer was never identified. The FBI still classifies the case as active. In 2011, in Florida, a woman was home alone on Christmas Eve. She heard Christmas music outside her door. Someone was singing softly. She assumed it was neighbors. Then the singing stopped. A knock. When she looked through the peephole, no one was there. Suddenly, the glass shattered. A masked man forced his way in. She survived by locking herself in the bathroom and calling 911. The attacker was never caught. Before leaving, he wrote one sentence on her wall: "Merry Christmas." She moved away the next week. Experts say Christmas creates the perfect conditions for crime. Loud music hides screams. Alcohol lowers awareness. Doors are left unlocked. People trust strangers. Police response times increase. Criminals don't see Christmas as sacred. They see it as opportunity. This Christmas, when you hear a knock at the door, think twice. When someone smiles a little too much, be careful. And remember, the darkest crimes in history didn't happen in the shadows. They happened under twinkling lights and Christmas trees. Doors stay unlocked. Strangers are trusted. Voices outside are ignored. And predators know this. Tonight's stories are not about rage or accidents. They are about calculated evil. People who waited for Christmas because they knew no one would be ready. December 24th, 1974, Chicago, Illinois. A 17-year-old babysitter was watching 2 children while their parents attended a Christmas party. The house was quiet. Christmas lights blinked softly. Around 9:30 p.m., the phone rang. A man asked, "Did you check on the children?" She assumed it was the father. Minutes later, the phone rang again. Same voice, same question. By the 3rd call, the girl felt uneasy. She called the police. What they discovered chilled the nation. The calls were coming from inside the house. The killer had already murdered the children upstairs and was watching her from the hallway. She survived by escaping through a window. The killer was never found. This case later inspired multiple American horror films, but the real story is far worse than fiction. In 1949, in Brooklyn, New York, a family of 6 died in a Christmas Eve house fire. Police ruled it an accident. Christmas tree lights, dry needles, tragic timing. But 30 years later, a confession emerged. A neighbor admitted he had started the fire intentionally after a dispute over noise and jealousy. He waited for Christmas because
Everyone would blame the decorations. The man was never charged. Statute of limitations had expired. 6 people burned alive, and justice never came.
Christmas, 1968. A small town in Pennsylvania. A Vietnam War soldier returned home unexpectedly. His family celebrated. Neighbors welcomed him as a hero. But something was wrong. That night, after Christmas dinner, he locked the doors, turned off the lights, and murdered his entire family. During interrogation, he said, "I didn't know where I was. I thought I was back in the jungle." The case shocked America and forced psychologists to confront PTSD for the first time on a national level. Christmas didn't cause the tragedy. It simply became the stage. December 25th, 1987, New Jersey. Children ran downstairs to open presents. Instead, they found their father dead in the living room. He had been stabbed over 40 times. No signs of forced entry, no robbery. Investigators later discovered the killer had entered earlier in the night, during midnight mass, when the house was empty. He hid inside for hours, waiting. The killer was a family acquaintance, someone trusted, someone invited for Christmas the year before. Between 1991 and 1995, police departments across the Midwest received letters every December. Each envelope read, "Merry Christmas." Inside were details of unsolved murders, details only the killer could know. The letters stopped suddenly. Years later, DNA linked them to a man who had died in a car accident. He had committed multiple murders during Christmas seasons only. Why? His confession letter said, "Holidays make the deaths louder." In 1985, teenagers in Kentucky found a body on train tracks Christmas morning. Police assumed suicide. Years later, evidence revealed the man had been beaten unconscious and placed there deliberately. Witnesses later recalled a Christmas party nearby. The suspects were never charged. No one wanted to ruin Christmas. The truth stayed buried. Across all these cases, investigators noticed the same pattern. Killers exploit trust. Crimes are dismissed as accidents. Witnesses are distracted. Evidence is ignored. Christmas doesn't stop crime. It hides it. If someone knocks on your door this Christmas, don't assume kindness. If something feels wrong, trust it. Because the most dangerous night of the year isn't Halloween. It's the night when everyone believes nothing bad can happen. Some Christmas crimes are remembered. Others are forgotten on purpose because they were too disturbing, too embarrassing, too inconvenient for the holidays. Tonight's stories weren't just horrifying. They were buried, not by time, but by silence. December 24th, 1971, a county jail in Alabama. A man arrested for armed robbery was found dead in his cell early Christmas morning. Police called it suicide, hanging, case closed. But fellow inmates reported screams in the night. Guards were short-staffed for Christmas. Years later, an internal memo surfaced. It stated the man had been beaten during interrogation. His death was staged. Why Christmas? Because oversight was minimal. Media attention was elsewhere. No charges were ever filed. His family still visits his grave every Christmas. New Orleans, Louisiana. An orphanage hosted a Christmas celebration. Candles, music, children singing carols. That night, the building burned down. 37 children died. Authorities blamed faulty wiring. but survivors later testified they smelled gasoline. They heard a door lock from the outside. The case was quietly closed. Records disappeared. To this day, locals claim the land is cursed. Every December, neighbors report hearing children singing where no building stands. In 1962, in rural Georgia, a black family was found murdered in their home on Christmas Eve. No suspects, no national coverage. Local newspapers printed only a few lines. Decades later, civil rights investigators reopened the case. Evidence suggested a racially motivated killing. The sheriff at the time destroyed files. Why was it buried? Because it was Christmas, and America didn't want ugly truths during the holidays.
Detroit, Michigan. A mall Santa was found dead in a storage room, hanging. Ruled suicide, but coworkers reported he had been threatened days earlier. Security footage was erased. Management wanted to avoid holiday panic. The mall reopened the next day. Children took photos feet away from where a man died. The case was never reopened. December 23, 1989, Los Angeles, California. A 14-year-old girl attended a Christmas party. She never made it home. Witnesses said she left with a family friend. Police assumed she ran away. Her case was ignored until January. By then, evidence was gone. The man moved out of state. He was never charged. Her family still puts her photo on the tree every year. Christmas Eve, 1958, Boston, Massachusetts. Two bodies were mistakenly switched at the morgue. One family buried the wrong person. The error wasn't discovered for years. Why it matters? One body showed signs of unreported violence. The truth came too late. Someone got away with murder because it happened during Christmas chaos. Experts later concluded police staffing is reduced, media coverage drops, families travel, witnesses are distracted, bureaucracy slows. Christmas doesn't just hide crimes, it erases them. This Christmas, don't ignore what feels wrong. Don't dismiss what seems inconvenient, because the worst crimes in history weren't committed in darkness. They were committed while the world was celebrating.